Hello and welcome to Chapping Up, your channel for personal style development. I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos on the internet about shoe care. However, there's one aspect that is neglected way too often. And today I'm going to tell you which one it is. It is about sole care. As you know, the sole is the part of your shoe that is in constant contact with the ground. It has to put up with moisture, with dirt, dust, grime, and it has to carry your weight all the time. Hence why it wears off quite quickly. I want to teach you today how to increase the longevity so that you can enjoy your shoes way longer and get most out of your investment. Let's get straight into it. And those are the ingredients you need. You need your shoes, obviously with leather sole, otherwise this procedure makes no sense whatsoever. A brush, in this case is a horsehair brush, a special sole oil of your choice, and finally a smaller brush to apply the oil. And last but not least, but very important, protect your workspace. Because this oil here basically ruins every surface. So make sure that you work in an environment that doesn't need protection or can be protected easily. Because I have to work on this table here, I've chosen a little box, a little carton here to protect the surface. And now I'll show you how to get the job done. So, you take your lovely shoes and as a first step, you just brush it off a little bit, make it clean. Right, here we go, easy, easy. Done. Next step, you apply the oil. In this case, I've chosen a very renowned oil. It's called Burgol, which we use here in Germany. What I do first is I shake this oil because there's some residue that accumulates on the bottom. Now I go into it and soak the bristles with the oil. Yeah, and be very careful. You don't want to have like any sprinkle here of the oil because it will just ruin everything. So be super, super careful. Then you take the sole. You start applying. You apply it in such a way that it's completely covered with the oil, but don't use too much. Because the problem is, when you use too much oil, then the oil will go here through the welt and will ruin your entire sole. And you can't wash it, you can't do nothing about it. So please don't apply too much. Do 1 or 2 goes and just cover every corner here. I'm not sure if this bit is really necessary. You can do it anyway, but it just doesn't touch the ground as you see. However, because of the moisture, it could be a good idea to cover this as well. And please make sure that here on the front use less oil than here in the back, because as you can see the sole is thinner here in the front than in the back. So you want to avoid that the oil goes through the sole and then into the leather, right? Don't ruin your leather. If you ask me how much oil should I use, just do it in a way that the soles change their color. And then it is fine. Just don't overdo it. Here, really, less is more. Another thing I want to tell you is that these shoes are equipped with JR soles. So JR is a company from Western Germany. It's called Johann Rendenbach. they're classed as the maybe one of the best soles you can get on your shoes. However, the factory has closed 1.5 years ago, and that's why I really want to make sure that the soles are lasting as long as possible, because they're just magnificent. What you have to know about Johann Rendenbach soles is that the company claims that their soles don't need any oil, because the way they were treating the leather beforehand is such a high quality that the fibers are already super dense. Which means they are very resistant to moisture and wear. However, it's the cold time of the year now. I want to do it anyway. It doesn't harm. If you're still here, then I really admire your patience watching me treating my shoes. Is quite funny actually. I just want to show that it doesn't take much effort. Okay. As you can see, the soles are covered with oil. And what you want to do now is you can do a second go on them if you feel the need that there should be more oil, but really don't overdo it. Or you leave it and you just put them aside. What I do is keep them aside for 6 hours or so, and they should be good for the streets. After hours letting the shoes rest sideways, we can admire following result. As you can see here, the oil darkened the sole which had contact with the ground, which you can see by the darker color. On top of that, we can see that the oil was distributed evenly, which means that the state of saturation is the right one. Plus, we didn't damage the leather, which is good. What you have to know is that you will smell the odor of the oil. This is not a bad thing, but if the odor is way too harsh, then you've overdone it. Never mind, the smell will go away very quickly, so you won't smell it when you use the shoes. I would do this process all over again every 6 weeks. This was not too difficult, right? If you think that you could take away something useful, then don't hesitate to give me a like, and I hope I see you next time. Bye bye.